What is free but priceless? It can't be owned but can be used. And once it's lost, you can never get it back. The answer is time. Time is the most valuable thing we have, and unfortunately, it is a finite resource. Of course, that doesn't stop Silicon Valley from trying to disrupt it. They spend capital to create more efficiency, wake up at 5 a.m., minimize decisions to streamline their days, and employ countless other time management strategies, tips and techniques in an effort to win time back. But did they actually work? I'm sorry to say, mostly, no. Time management strategies work if you're already good at time management. For the rest of us, they're more likely to add stress and another thing to our to-do list, the opposite of what they're intended to do. Instead of hacking our schedules, we have to address the root of the problem. We have too much to do and too little time in which to do it. First things first, admit you have a problem. Productivity is essential, both for your company and for your brain. It feels good to cross things off your to-do list, but chasing that productivity comes with diminishing returns. Working more hours does not come with increased productivity, and the added stress can actually make you worse at soft skills like interpersonal communication. It can even degrade your judgment. For leaders whose primary function is managing teams and making critical decisions for a company, that is a huge problem. Don't make decisions, operate on principles. There's a reason that people with the gray t-shirt wardrobe swear by this. It saves decision-making power for something more important. The problem with the hack, though, is that it's only one less thing to think about. In order for these changes to make a meaningful difference in our lives, we need to stop thinking in the order of individual decisions. Instead, we need to operate on a set of principles. Principles allow you to live out your values without getting bogged down by choices. Defining your principles has a cascading effect, where that one decision makes 100 others for you. For example, let's say your colleague asks to move up a deadline. You want to be helpful and be seen as a team player, but that would mean getting home after your kids are long asleep. Thinking through the trade-offs of this decision could be anxiety-inducing at the moment. But due to one of your principles being to be an engaged parent, the decision was already made before your colleague pressed send. Rest assured, setting that boundary likely was totally fine with your colleague anyway. Principles are immovable and non-negotiable, and you have to stick with them in order for them to work for you. It's worth it. Add structure. Another way to reduce decision-making is simply better planning. And by better planning, I don't mean time management. I mean structuring your days in a way that gives you time to work without rushing, time to rest, and time to be creative. Most people manage their calendars reactively, responding to the calendar requests of the company and their team. While at face value this makes sense, it means that you don't actually control your time. So, how do you change that? You're going to have to say no to stuff. You can also seek help from Stephen Covey's Time Management Matrix through the link in the card and description. Now, let us determine what stays and what goes. 1. Identify your lowest impact tasks. The most important part of your job is how you have the most impact. Ideally, that's also how you spend the most time, but that's rarely the case. Knowledge workers spend 41% of their time on work that could be competently done by other people with a less robust skill set. Identify your lowest value tasks and move them off your plate. 2. Evaluate which tasks give you anxiety. Anxiety takes up an outsized portion of your cognitive load, which is detrimental to your productivity. It also causes you to focus on the wrong thing, often because you're avoiding the task that's making you anxious. If you can, delete them. If you can't, though, time box it. Time boxing will help you just do it and limit the impact anxiety can have on your day. 3. Turn your to-do list into a calendar. In order to take control of your calendar, you need to translate your list of priorities into a calendar. Putting your tasks on a calendar gives you more control over your time and uses Parkinson's law, i.e., that tasks will take as long as you have, to your advantage. Of course, it's hard to say no. We live in a yes culture. Furthermore, we want to be helpful and liked. But saying yes all the time is to your personal detriment and your company's. Declining obligations puts you back in the driver's seat and makes room for a less stressful, more meaningful life. In other words, saying no to less meaningful tasks means getting to say an enthusiastic yes to the things that matter. Smart viewers, this video is based on the writing of Atekin Tank, who is the founder and CEO of Jotform, a developer by trade but a storyteller by heart. He writes about his journey as an entrepreneur and shares advice for other startups. He loves to hear from Jotform users. You can reach him through his email address in the description. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Mr. Smart to watch more content like this.